Hi, my name is Lauren. For this assignment, the first person that I interviewed was my dad. He's in Gen X and he works on the technical side of sales. So he has a lot of communication with clients and other coworkers. One of the first questions he asked me when I was telling him I was interviewing him was he asked, well, who is it to? And I was like, well, just think of somebody professionally. And he's like, yes, but that can vary a lot. So these are just some general guidelines that he had. Some email do's were to address the person appropriately, include the message in the subject line, make sure you're very clear, be succinct, and have a clear ask. Make sure that the person you're emailing knows exactly what you want from them. Some of his don'ts were to shorten someone's name unless they introduce themselves that way. So if their name is Michael, don't call them Mike until they introduce themselves like that. Don't send a lengthy message, goes with being succinct. Don't send a message that requires back and forth. Instead, schedule a meeting or a phone call because you don't want to go back and forth. That could get lost and takes unnecessary time. And don't reply all unless it's absolutely necessary. His nevers were to never include the message in the subject line but have no body. So the subject would say, I need to ask you about this, and there's no body for the email, it's just in the subject. Also, never email without purpose or send to a bunch of people, like copying them, because then they might hit reply all and clog everybody's inbox. And never send an email without contact information. Next was my friend who works in financial investing. She's Gen Z. Some of her do's were to greet the person, include a clear subject line, and always include a sign off. Her don'ts were to drone on, or include secure personal information, or take a super long time to respond. Some nevers were to use phrases such as you guys, because those can be non-inclusive, and also to never use foul language. So some similarities were definitely being succinct and including a clear ask and making sure the person is addressed appropriately. And then some differences were that my dad didn't really talk about using inclusive phrases and things like that. So I think that comes a lot from the inclusive movement that we're having, especially at CSU. My friend didn't go to CSU, but she went to college recently, and that makes a big difference just based on how universities tend to educate on those things. So I think that the generational gap and the differences in those are likely more due to when they went to school.